Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Steve Callaway 1 here on YouTube, and we're with Angelina Jordan. This is on MERY Zamani 6 TikTok and was posted 13 hours ago. And the song, when we get to that point, is Who'll Wipe the Tears Away. Let's go ahead and read this for you, because I always not sure you can read it on your phone unless you... Well, anyway, I'll just read it. Japan. Around 4 in the morning. The air had not yet decided whether to remain night or surrender to day. A journalist and I stood on a platform near one of Japan's prisons, not for thrill, not for headlines, but to witness what is usually kept hidden. From there we watched the ambulances arrive, not the kind that bring hope, but the kind that arrived too late. They brought the patients in, broken bodies, damaged limbs, eyes that no longer saw, or were about to lose the right to see. Their faces were silent, not peaceful, resigned. One of them I knew. The day before, I had gone to the prison in Japan to translate for him. And that was when I learned he was being taken for eye surgery, not to save his eye, but to remove it. The infection had spread, not because of an accident, but because of neglect, because no one checked, no one treated it, no one acted in time. And when they took him away, I was no longer just a witness. I understood then that injustice does not always shout. Sometimes it happens quickly, at dawn, during a medical transfer. That image stayed with me. It never left. By around 6 o'clock, as morning light began to appear, another vehicle arrived. Not an ordinary car, completely sealed, its windows suffocated, surrounded on all sides by iron bars. It moved with ceremony, cold, controlled, designed so the human inside would not be seen, only transferred. That was when I realized, when a system wants to hide pain, it first erases the face, then the voice, and finally the name. The vehicle stopped. Bodies were moved again, not with cruelty, but with indifference. And in that quiet morning outside a Japanese prison, I saw that injustice does not always roar. Only one man stepped out. His hands were tied behind his back. No resistance, no words. My friend, who worked in television, raised his camera and began filming. I took photographs. My hands were shaking. Tears were running down my face. Before the patient was even taken to the hospital, they noticed me. Everything changed at once. No warning, no questions. They attacked. Punches, kicks, relentless, and tore the camera from my hands as if the image itself were the crime. My friend ran. He had official credentials from Japanese state television, so they let him go. I stayed. They dragged me toward the prison, my body scraping the ground, and the silence finally broke. That was when I understood. When you witness the truth, you become the problem. And when you cry, your crime becomes greater. Right there, without delay, they obtained a court order in Japan. No hearing, no chance to explain. They said I had to go to prison. The charge was simple: taking photographs without permission in their restricted zone. They developed the photos in front of me and placed them on the table. The images were still fresh. Some still carried the trace of my tears, They said, "Admit your crime. Sign." They did not ask why I was there. They did not look at what I had seen. No one wanted to know about the man, the eye, the abandoned body. Only one thing mattered. The truth had been documented. In that moment, I learned that in some places, seeing is not the crime. Seeing is the crime, not what is seen. And the signature was not an admission of guilt. It was an attempt to erase a witness. I'm going to stop it there because I have to reformat the picture. This one's a little wider. It's cutting off a lot of the words. You guys won't be able to see them. So I'll be back in 1 second. Interruption. Paragraph 20. For the first 24 hours, they did not allow me to call anyone. No phone, no contact, no voice reaching the outside world. Only silence surrounded me. Uninterrupted and deliberate. I chose silence as my resistance. I went on strike. I did not speak. I did not argue. I did not plead. I withdrew into myself and refused to give them anything they wanted. I wrote only one sentence on a piece of paper again and again. I want my children. Nothing else. No explanation. No defense. Just those words. I had no one. Sarah and Michael were still so young. Sarah was 8 years old. Michael was 4. They were alone in the world without me. I survived by feeding myself from the inside, from memory, from instinct, from the force of being a mother. There was no comfort, only endurance. I'll be right back. I got to reformat again. I got to go wider. Okay, I'll be right back. That'll be the last interruption because I just went as wide as I could possibly go. So if there's another bigger one, we should catch it. Paragraph 21. After 24 hours, the deadline was extended, and then they transferred me to prison. Outside, Sarah had taken care of Michael by herself, a child protecting a younger child, without guidance, without safety, without knowing what would happen next. Inside the prison, they brought them to me, both of them. Through those walls and bars, my children were finally placed in front of me. In that moment, prison lost its power. I saw them standing there. Sorry. I saw them standing there, and I knew that everything I had endured had been for this. Even there, they could not take away the reason I was still standing. Paragraph 22. Despite the law and despite the fact that children were not allowed inside prison, they brought both of them in. No food, no proper clothing, no care. Dark circles had formed under their eyes. They had cried so much that they no longer looked like children. Michael screamed and ran. This is tough. Michael screamed and ran toward me, crying, "Mommy, we thought you were never coming back." Sarah said nothing. She stood there with her hands pressed into her mouth, crying in silence. In that moment, I understood what prison had done. Not to me, but to my children. Well, I'm having a tough time getting through this. Let me go to the next page here. Paragraph 23. All the details of this long story, the hunger, the illnesses, and the countless forms of suffering, are written in my book. But the end of that beautiful, innocent man came in the way I had feared. His hands were tied and his eye was removed. I learned this later from my dear journalist friend, Takahashi, who died young. The truth reached me late, but it stayed with me forever. Whew. Well, the song is Who'll Wipe Their Tears Away. Let's listen to that. It seems appropriate. I'm not laughing because there's anything funny about this story. I'm laughing because of how deeply I feel these things from Mary and everything that Angelina does. And after 70 years of not feeling much, well, not quite that many, 65, because I first met Angelina I didn't meet her, 9 years ago was the first time I listened to her. And ever since then, my eyes and my heart and my soul have been opened up to other possibilities I hadn't experienced very much in my life. So let's listen to the song.
Ooh, oh, they're trembling like angels weep. The stars will glow, but who will love them me below? Let quiet rise through winter air. Let every heart remember care. Oh, Christmas night, so pure, so true. Shine for the child still waiting for you. Footprints finish on frozen ground. No lullaby. Ooh, wipe their tears tonight. Ooh, hold their trembling like angels weep. The stars will glow, but who will?
Okay. Oh, I could listen to that song all day. But we're going to have to move on to another video, I think. This one took a while, so I might not do 4 today. I might do a few less. We'll see what happens. This was the only new one on Mary Zamani 6. If I find more new ones on the other other channels that I usually check, then I'll post them. If not, I might just get a nice upbeat song to finish it off with. Guys, thanks for listening. You know, you don't realize how lucky you are when, you know, bad things happen in this country too, but not like this that I'm aware of. And in this country, especially nowadays, anything happens, you're going to hear about it. Everybody's got a camera and a video recorder right in their hand. And what human beings can do to other human beings is just astonishing. It makes no sense to me. Probably not to many of you either. Angelina's message lately has been, used to be love and kindness for the most part. Now it's love and peace. So I changed my sign off to most of you to love and peace. We can still throw kindness in there and compassion and a bunch of other words, and it gets too long, right? But why can't we have peace? Part of the reason we can't have peace, I believe, this is just my belief, and I'm not making an excuse for not being peaceful, is the old thing that I talk about, the positive and negative forces in the universe. There has to be a balance. So it seems like there's always conflict, wars, tension, mistreatment of other human beings, death, destruction, all that stuff. Seems like it's always going to be around. I guess that gives the rest of us the right to lead a peaceful life. But I wish, because you got to have the balance. If it's too peaceful, then it's going to have to go back the other way at some point, even probably worse. The scale will keep tipping. The closer you can stay to the middle, I guess the better off everybody is, right? But I don't want anybody to suffer. I don't want anybody to be killed for no reason, really. The wars that go on where there's killing going on, both sides kill the other side for what? Land? Resources? Power? Money of some type? People get powerful, then all of a sudden, now what they say is the way it's going to be, that kind of thing. Throw their weight around. I don't know. I don't know why each individual can't appreciate the uniqueness of every other individual. Doesn't mean they're a good person, a bad person, or anywhere in between. It just means they're totally unique. That alone, to me, is something that should be recognized and appreciated for what it is. A one-time occurrence in the universe. It'll never happen again. Never has happened before. It won't happen in the future. And I don't know. Sometimes we put value on things that we consider to be rare. Things like gold, silver, diamonds, precious gems of other types, emeralds, rubies, platinum, you name it, right? I guess uranium, which you throw in there maybe for whatever reason. But, so there's some value placed on these things above other things because if they're considered to be somewhat rare, rarer than, say, a handful of dirt or sand, right? What could be more rare than a one-time occurrence in the universe, which is each of us? What could be more rare than that? There's nothing there's nothing that even compares to that. And yet there are those that think snuffing out these lives is some right that they have or some power that they have. They don't. They shouldn't. But it takes two to tango, so once you get in a conflict, I still think the best way is to have the leader of the two countries that are in conflict put them in a WWF cage and let them fight it out. Now, some people say, well, it wouldn't be fair because some are older, some are in better shape, blah, blah, blah. Hey, don't get in a fight. You're a coward if you're fighting somebody that isn't your equal as far as physicality and all the other stuff. You're just a bully. You're a coward, okay? So guess what? Don't get in the fight. Be happy where you're at. Be happy with what you got. Try to work with what you have to make yourself better. That's all. Why do you got to steal from somebody else by brute force? I don't get it. I don't get it. Earn it. That's the reward. Not steal it. Not bully it away from somebody. Oh well. Okay, Steve. Time to clam up. Hey guys, we'll see you. I'm looking forward to a really great 2026. I've been saying my year begins January 31st in Las Vegas, which is the highlight. The early highlight of the year is definitely January 31st of 2026, but I think the whole year is looking like it's probably going to be one of the better years. So that will do it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.